Cool. All right. I guess I got you guys both going now. So, yeah, you're at the second Vibe Talks. Thank you for coming through. I really loved all the feedback and just hearing how the first Vibe Talks the other day impacted you. Let me find my glasses. That way I can actually see, like, oh, hey, when you guys join. Yeah, now I can see. So yeah, super appreciate all the feedback. And yeah, the goal is to do these Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Same bat time, same bat channel. So that would be 11 a.m. for my West Coasters, 1 p.m. Central Time, and 2 p.m. East Coast. So we started off with setting up healthy boundaries the other day, right? So it's funny, when I decided to do these Vibe Talks, I had, being the planner, being the overthinker that I am, I had a whole list. I had like 15 topics. I was like, this is what we're going to dive into. This is what I want to hop on and talk about. So then this morning, knowing that I was coming on and chatting with you guys, I was like, I don't want to talk about any of the stuff I got lined up. None of those topics are really speaking to me, right? And so from there, I went into default mode and started overthinking like crazy. Like, well, I can do this, I can do that. All the different topics were spinning through my head, and all the different things I could talk about, and blah blah blah, right? To the point where, like, yeah, I started getting myself worked up. I started getting anxious, and so that was my sign to slow it down, right? So my coping mechanism in that, when that starts to happen, when I start to get into overthinking mode, is to start writing, to get to my journal and just start putting everything to paper so I can start sorting through all the things that are coming up. And it was funny because, of course, before I did that, I had to hop on Instagram and start scrolling through memes, right? Memes are life. Just kidding. Maybe. So I saw one that got my wheels spinning, and it was to the effect of, are you controlling or are you receiving, right? So once I started journaling and writing things out, I realized, like, yeah, I was totally in control mode. I was totally in perfectionist mode, right? I wanted to show up a particular way, and you guys all fall in love with me and be like, oh my God, she knows what she's talking about, right? When the fact of the matter is, as long as I show up authentically, like, y'all are gonna pick up what I'm throwing down. Some of you will, some of you won't, and you know, those of you who don't, like, that's cool too. Like, I'm still gonna be me. So as I sat there, I was like, okay, yeah, we're gonna talk about controlling versus receiving today. Because that felt good to me. That definitely got me excited to hop on and talk with you guys. Where before, when I was just like all in my head, like, I was not excited. I was actually getting anxious about hopping on and talking to you guys. So if we're gonna just get things going here, let's talk about this controlling versus receiving. And I just want to say that today, like, I definitely have, like, my phone with IG set up and my laptop with Facebook set up in a way that's, like, way better for me to, like, keep track of all these cameras. So controlling, right? When we're controlling life, what's that look like? In the example I just gave you, controlling life can look like overthinking, thinking about all the things, right? And so when we're trying to control life and we're coming at it with all that overthinking, are we actually making anything happen? Are we actually fixing anything? Are we actually changing anything in our lives when we're doing the overthinking? You know, maybe we're exploring all the worst case scenarios. Maybe we're exploring all the best case scenarios, but is anything happening? Is that overthinking actually pushing life forward? One of my favorite quotes, right, is worrying is praying for what we don't want. But that always, like, brings me back, right? That always slows me back down once I start to remind myself that the worrying, the overthinking isn't doing anything. My I guess you could say video game career crashed and burned early, right? So when people talk video games, I'm like, what, like Super Mario Brothers? I think my brother had a Sega Genesis and we had Sonic, so like that's as far as I got, right? So where am I going with this? Keep up with me. So if we think about video games, and especially like old school video games, I feel like there was always like that heart in the corner, and that's how you knew like how much life you had. And every time you came up against a bad guy and you got hit, you lost more life, right? So when we're spending all this time overthinking, in control mode, worrying about the things that we have no power over, we're losing life. Our heart is diminishing, right? And so it's one of those things where being in control mode is a total loss of power. We're lowering our vibe, and we're totally not in alignment with what we actually want. So that's where I say, like, controlling life, getting stuck in the overthinking makes nothing happen. The flip side to that is, or one thing I had to work on a few years back when I decided like overthinking was not going to be my default mode anymore, was getting to this place where I thought less and did more, right? And as that evolved, it actually became think less and do more of what's within my power, right? So it's focusing on the solutions. So while you're overthinking and you catch yourself say, okay, right, so I've thought up all these scenarios. Do any of them move me closer to where I want to be? And are any of them within my power? Are any of them things that I can actually do? Can I actually move myself forward, right? And so this is where receiving comes in, the flip side of that. You do what you can, trust that you've done enough, and let life unfold. When we're stuck in the controlling of how life should be, we actually, oh my God, Trevor, makeup is on point. Go away. I shouldn't look at the comments. I'm gonna throw myself off. So when we're in receiving mode, right? We've done what's within our power, right? We've done what we can. We've taken the steps towards getting us closer to what we actually want, and then we let go. We let life do its thing. We let our actions, we let the domino effects happen, right? So it's one of those things where I was talking to a client a couple weeks ago, and she was getting really frustrated with this whole idea of let go and flow, as if it was this passive thing. Like she was just supposed to sit there, hands up, whatever, let life happen. And I don't necessarily think that's the case. I think let go and flow is doing what's within your power, trusting in your effort, as long as you've given your best, right? That's something I got from Don Miguel Ruiz, his book, The Four Agreements. Just do your best, right? If you do your best, what is there left for you to beat yourself up about? So do what you can, do your best, let go, and trust that your best effort will get you where you need to be. Sometimes we hold on to a specific outcome that we think is in our best interest. But at the end of the day, because like we can't see 10 steps ahead of us, 20 steps ahead of us, at the end of the day, what we thought was the best outcome probably isn't. And if we let go and allow ourselves to receive, that best case scenario can find us, right? Because sometimes when we're controlling and holding on to a specific outcome, our blinders are on. We don't see all the other things that are probably like 20 times better trying to come at us, right? I gotta remember to look at you, Facebook. I keep going for Instagram because the lighting looks so much better there. So, receiving looks like doing what you can, doing your best, and staying open and trusting that domino effect, right? I think another big thing with receiving is trusting and looking back at our story and realizing everything we've ever come up against, we've come out on top, right? Like, because if you're here right now, you come out on top. Your story is never actually over. So it's one of those things where we need to look at our wins. We need to look at the things that we have overcome and trust that we will continue to overcome. Oh my God, Trevor, you're both on IG and Facebook. I gotta not look at these comments. Let me put a piece of paper up there. So let me slow down. Receiving. Trusting that you've done your best, right? Letting the chips fall where they may and trusting that you will be okay. even if something feels or looks scary, you will come out on top in the end. Maybe it's going to take you coming at things from a different angle, letting go of control of how you thought it should be, and maybe exploring other sides to things, exploring other avenues to get you through. Letting go is not this passive activity. Letting go takes a lot of trust, a lot of trusting that you will overcome. And this is the thing, like, so my whole get down is a mind, body, soul approach to stress management, right? So when you're in control mode, yeah, you're gonna bring in a lot of stress in your life, a lot of anxiety. Like, I felt myself getting worked up this morning when I was like, man, what the hell am I gonna talk about? And then I was getting anxious and I was dreading coming on. And this is the thing, when we overthink scenarios in our head and we think up worst case scenarios, our body doesn't actually know that we're not going through the thing. Our body thinks that the things are happening. So our stress response kicks in. That fight or flight kind of mechanism turns on, right? So you start to stress your body out, and depending on what you're going through, maybe it's health issues that you're overthinking and you're worried about, and you're so focused on the problem, and all that's doing, all of that stress that you're putting on your system through is weakening your immune system. If the goal is to get better, if the goal is to get healthier, then you need to do your best to keep your vibe high, right? That helps your immune system. That strengthens your immunity. When you laugh more, when you enjoy your life more, when you spend time with people that you love, all of that helps you be a healthier person. A lot of times we think health is physical, right? The physical aspects of health. But there's a lot more to it. Our mindset, our emotional well-being all contributes to health, right? So, water break. I knew I was going to be like, blah, 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 blah. So that being said, if I can leave you with anything, when you find yourself in overthinking, control mode, slow down. Tell yourself, do less. Oh my God. Think less, do more, right? Get into action mode. Do what you can. Trust that you've done enough, right? And once you catch yourself and that becomes a way of thinking, think less, do more, change it into do more of what I can, right? Give yourself that grace. Give yourself that pause to love on yourself, right? It shouldn't be all of this. Think about controlling. What does controlling feel like? It feels tight, right? Our bodies don't need that. We need to let go and flow. I like do less thinking. Whatever. Trevor. At the end of the day, you are an overcomer, okay? You're not meant to stay in this low vibe, in pain, in less than. You're meant to rise up. And so that first comes from you, nobody else, right? Cool. So that is day 2 of Vibe Talks. Let me see if anybody else but Trevor has commented so far. No, so I don't have to get distracted. I'll be back again on Monday. Same bat time, same bat channel, 11 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Central time, and 2 p.m. East Coast time. And yeah, if you guys are picking up what I'm throwing down, show me some love here. Give me some comments, share with your people, and I'll see you guys again on Monday. Cool. Thanks for joining. Oh.